Hi guys, Gilly Hunt here with the second this week of a little design, and this one's a different design from the other one, on how to give a little gift of sweets. For all that matters, it could be a little packet of beads or it could be a little packet of trinkets, whatever you like. But I'm going to show you how to make this, and I'm also going to give you a little bit of a session on how to colour to get some really lovely shaded effects using the Stampin' Blends. So first of all, I've taken the Beautiful Moments stamp set, which is, in my mind, one of the best and loveliest ones we've ever done. This little children wandering off could be up a beach with a bucket and spade, or it could be make this into a little bit of grass and these into little pretty pink dresses and put some flowers in the buckets, and you've suddenly got two little bridesmaids carrying baskets, not buckets. You've got a mother and daughter, or you've got two sisters. There's lots of ambiguity in all of the designs, so you can use them for so many occasions. And I'm going to use this, which I think is the most lovely, romantic, pretty little design. So I'm going to try and show you how to make this lovely decoration to go on the wrap. Okay, now I have used a good deal of different colours, so I'm going to show you them all, and I'm going to turn them round. They don't come with these lettering on them, but I have these because I use them a lot, because when I do my classes, then people can see what colours, and I don't have to keep telling everybody all the time which colours I've used all the time. So it just helps me, and it also helps my class people to sort of pick out the right one when they're wanting it. So there they go. They are all written on, so those of you that are thinking, oh no, they're not written on, they are written on. Here, light soft suede, nice and clear, but it is in quite small, so I like a nice big shouting. It's sun over here, this is light soft suede. So there you go. Here's the design we're aiming for. I've used those colours. Now you could get away with using far less if you want to. I'm one of those that once you've got the colours, why not get all the little subtle nuances? Why not use them fully? So just for once, I'm going to use lots. And I do urge you that once you start to collect these colours, that the sooner you have the more colours, the more subtle your colouring can be. And I know one of the lovely things to do is perhaps to set yourself a little budget each month, and each month to buy maybe a pair, or maybe two pairs, or maybe a whole set. But whatever your budget, if you can buy maybe one a month, you will soon get a nice little selection, and they last for a very, very long time. You're not going to be, as long as you're careful with them, as long as you're sensible with them, you don't give them to your children to colour like mad, sort of heftily, they will last forever. So here they go. Let's put them to one side. You've seen the colours, but I'm going to have them there ready just to come in and out when I need them. So I'll put them right to the side. And I'm going to bring in just a piece of Whisper White card. Now I do suggest, and I did suggest earlier in the week, that you use Whisper White card and you use the dye-based ink. And if you don't know, then go back to this little piggy video and it'll tell you all about why you use those two colours. Those two products. My poor old tongue is very tired today. I think I'm quite tired. We had a lovely barbecue for over the bank holiday, and the weather's now changed, and suddenly I've gone into hibernation mode, I think. So there we go. Pat, 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 tap, 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 very gently, very lightly. We're not bashing it and crashing it. And then we're going to put this down. Now I like to do mine sideways just because it's easier for me to hold the block. I've got quite little shorty hands, look. So I like to do mine sideways, but you can do it whatever way you like. Okay, and there we go. And we're now going to start to colour her. And I'm going to start with the largest area of colour. So that is the dress. And I'm going to take light and dark mint macaron, and I'm going to take the shaded spruce, and I'm also going to just possibly use the dark seafoam. Yes, I will. So first of all, I'm going to just make myself a little colour chart. And I'm also going to find myself a little piece to put underneath, because when I'm inking on this side, it will soak through, and if it's not soaking through, it's not doing a good job. So we want it to soak through, but what we don't want is to ruin our table or whatever we're using underneath. So I'm going to just very quickly at the side of here, I'm going to put down the colours. And when you're new, I've done a lot of colouring, so I kind of know what the colours look like and what they do. But when you're new, it's always a good thing to just pop a little colour swatch down the side. So that's why I thought I'd show you. Because we're using so many colours. Right. Now I know that the dark seafoam and the light shaded spruce kind of fit very well with the mint macaron colours. The seafoam is a very slightly yellowier shade than these, and the sea shaded spruce is a slightly bluer shade. So we kind of got similar shades, but with just a slightly yellowy and a slightly bluey tone to them. So let's first of all get our page absolutely soaked where her dress is, because it's her dress that we're going to do in this colour. And I'm going to let this just whift down. I'm not actually going to, I'm just literally going to go down like this, strokes and strokes and strokes. So I'm not getting a very tight edge, because I don't want a sharp edge. I want when she's going through, her dress to sort of flow into the surrounding area. Okay, I don't want a steep line, so it's lots of strokes like that. Okay, and I'm going to get this really soaking wet just around her bodice area, because we really want to work with pens when they're soaking wet. So that's lovely and soaked, and you will be able to see it look coming through. Okay, and I'm going to take the dark, and I'm going to, this is a wonderful easy peasy stamp set, because look, the artist that's drawn this has actually drawn in the lines for you. Right, so there's one line, there's another line. All these black lines are the creases. So I'm going in where all these creases are. Okay. And I'm putting in the dark colour. So there we go. Let me just show you. We've now got light and dark. And we're now going to use the soft seafoam. And what I'm going to do is a very odd thing to do, because this goes against normal colouring. And that's why you have to learn to colour completely differently when you're using Stampin' Blends. I want you to imagine that the sun is shining down here, and I nearly always have my sun coming in from the right hand top corner, unless there's a sun actually in the picture coming from a different angle, which of course would be silly. You'd have to go with whatever was in the picture. But if there is no light, I tend, being a right-hander, to have my sunshine coming in at this angle. Just means it's easier for me to work out where my shadows are going to be at all times. So imagine this is the sun shining in, and I want you now to look at the dark seafoam, which was the lightest of the colours. I want us to think where that light's going to hit. Well, it's going to hit the middle of her back, because that's going to be sticking out, isn't it? And it's also going to hit the top of some of these, but only a couple. Okay. Now I want you to think when that light shines there, where is the dark, deepest shadows going to be? Well, the deepest shadows are going to be down here by her arm, because her arm is going to have shadowed that. Under here where her hair is hitting, but not this side, because it's going to be underneath this and around where the waist is, because that again will be gathered up and the material will be gathered up, so that's where the shade will be the darkest. And then we've got to imagine that some of these are folds, so some of these folds will also have deeper, darker pieces to them. Can you see what we've done? Also, round the bottom of her bottom, that's where her bottom will be. So that's going to have a rounded shape, and the shadow is going to be tucked around the back of that. Okay, and now we're going to go back. We've just used these as our highlighters, the dark seafoam and the light shaded spruce, and I'm going to put them away, and we're going to work with these two, which are our base colours. And I'm going to use the light one to just blend together some of those things that are already up there. Now we have to sometimes, if we've taken a bit of time and I've been chattering, we sometimes have to re-wet that paper a little bit before it starts to blend. If you've got a big image, you should always colour it in sections rather than all at once, because it just does take a while to get that paper back to wet. And now I'm just going to reinforce those shadows with the darker one. And that will just blend it all together. And I'm really liking that. I don't know about you, but I feel like it's quite subtle, it's quite soft. And once it's dry, you will get this kind of effect where you've just got that little bit of colour blending through. Okay, now I'm going to look at her hair, and I'm going to give it the lightest tone first. So I'm going to cover it in bright yellow, and you're all going to go, ah, what? Have you turned her into a blonde? No, I still want that slight brunetty, mousy brown lady, which I had before, but that's going to be my lightest tone. So I've soaked it in that, and now I'm going to take my light crumb cake, and I'm just going to push some of this through the yellow, concentrating particularly on the top of the head and letting it go lighter. You know, when people's hair is sort of more bleached at the ends than it is at the top. So I'm going to get that effect, and I'm going to use some of the light soft suede too to just take the top of the head. Okay, and can you see that's just given that kind of tonal effect? I'm going to use the light petal pink for her skin. Now obviously skin comes in a myriad of different colours, and this is quite different from my own skin colour. Okay, so it's up to you what colour skins you want. I do suggest you look at the ivory, the bronze, the petal pinks, the crumb cakes. They're all very good for getting variations on skin tone. And what I'm just doing with this is I'm just dabbing in, and it'll hardly show, but I'm just dabbing in on the dark side. So remember we talked about the sun coming in from this side. So this front side of the arm will be lighter than the back end of the arm. This side will be lighter than that side. And so we've just put a little bit of extra. Now this will be an odd one because this is also tucked under and behind her body. So I'm also going to just put a little bit of extra dark pink here, which will be where the shadow from her body will come. Now it's very, very subtle, and you may not even notice, and you may say, oh, for goodness sake, is it worth bothering? But I think it just makes that little difference. Okay, you can just see that this is darker than here. And so in the long run, what it will do is it will make her feel like she's got shape and form, and she'll feel more in the picture. Okay, now we're going to do some extras here, and I'm going to start with a little bit of light crumb cake because that's rather a good one for giving us some earthiness. So I'm just going to be really light and fluffy with this, and I'm going to do the same with the old olive, but I'm going to do that a little bit more sparingly and a little bit more up higher. Okay, and I want you to notice, but I'll tell you about it in a minute, I want you to also notice, I'm going to take some light Daffodil Delight. I'll explain in a moment. I'm trying to explain and talk and think at the same time. And I'm just going to do this as a grass, more of a grass. Okay, and I think I'm actually quite happy with that. Now what I was going to explain to you was that when you're doing this sort of grassy effect, it's one of the nice things about this being a brush tip, is that if you put it down and you very slightly, not only strike it upwards, but you release the pressure, so you actually bring the, almost like a little tick, so it's deeper, narrower, deeper, narrower. You can actually get the triangular shape, which allows it to blend much better. And I'm just going to go in one last time with the very light mint macaron, because what I don't want is at any point her to be floating off the ground. So I'm just going to go across where her dress comes and make sure she's down into the grass. Okay, and it's slightly different from the other one, but ooh, here we go. But I'm hoping that gives you a good feel for how to colour. So let's take the original, because I've already cut it out. I've cut it out to the shape and size I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut, to make this little wrap, we're going to cut a minimum of 12 inches of ribbon, and I've chosen this lovely mint macaron ribbon to go with what we want. You're going to cut, this is actually the same width as an A4 piece of paper. So the A4 piece of paper is up here and down here, and this is the width of the A4, so it's 8 1/4. And you're going to cut it to 2.5 inches wide. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 4 inches. Okay, and then on the one end, which is the long end, you're going to take this lovely trio punch and you're going to round the corners using this side, and then you're going to pop it into this side and create this lovely little petal cutaway. Okay, so that's a great buy. Not only does it round corners, it creates very pretty corners, and it also creates little label little holes really for you to push things through. So there we go, and now I'm going to put a little piece of tear tape. I'll just show you the whole thing. So we've got our long end, our score, our shorter piece, and our other piece. We're going to put a piece of tape along there, and I've got a little packet of sweets that are already in a little piece like this, but you could get your own sweets and put them in a little piece of one of our little cellophane wraps and just seal the top with a piece of tear tape. And I'm going to put it in here. Okay, and I'm going to add the ribbon into the middle. And do you remember there was a little bit of tear tape on there that I just pulled off? And I'm going to put another piece of tear tape on here. And fold that over so it's a nice neat join, and also so that it traps in the sweets and it traps in the ribbon, so the ribbon's nice and solid too. And that is our pretty little wrap. So I'm now going to put her, and I've put tear tape on the back already, so it'd be nice and quick, because I knew I'd have been rabbiting on about the Stampin Blend pens. So I'm going to put her down quite close to the base, because what I want to do is allow for this ribbon to come round and either just have a little bow, or even what I'm just going to do, which is just a little tiny knot. There you go. And we've now got a lovely little gift to give, or maybe something to put on the pillow of somebody you love or somebody you care about, as a little "hello, I'm here" gift. Thanks very much. Bye bye.